All right, my favorite people. So, have you been in a scenario where you're having difficulties getting approved for a loan through a bank, or maybe you're just getting started? You don't have any money to be able to put down towards buying any deal. So, by the end of this, you'll definitely want to stay until the very end to get those insights on ways to raise capital and private money. So, let's go ahead and jump right into it. All right, next steps. Those of you on the YouTube, you know it. Hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. That way you can be informed moving forward every Tuesday and Thursday when we drop this content. And those of you who are on other platforms, whether you're driving right now, whether you're at a volleyball game, or maybe you're at work on lunch listening to this, go ahead and leave that rating on the platform. It would really mean the world. And today I almost scratched myself up while I was doing some shaving in the shower for my head. So I always mention everyone, I like to be much as efficient with time as possible. So while in the shower, I wash up, I brush my teeth, and I also shave as well. Get it all cranked out at once. But sometimes I go a little too fast and I'll leave some spots in patches of hair, or either I may scratch myself up a little bit. So it happens. I digress. But let's go ahead and jump into point number one. But why I want to provide context on this, because a fellow mentee of mine, his name is Juan L, of which he came to us and he was looking to get started in the industry and really didn't have the capital to the money to buy deals. So we really just started and said, just have organic conversations and start with your power base. And now he's in a situation to where he has more investors' cash than now. The main problem he has is not finding money. It's actually being able to find the deals to put that money into. And it really just started off having a relation and nurturing a relationship with someone at the gym that he met, and then after that, that person actually introduced him to someone else, and then now they're introducing him to his entire to that person's network. But it all just started with having organic conversations, not even having to come out and say, hey, I'm in real estate, invest in my deal. It's just forming a relationship, and naturally that'll come up. They'll ask you what you do, and they'll see how enthusiastic that you are, and they'll say, hey, I've got some money sitting in the bank earning 0.0001%, maybe even lower than that. But in actuality, printing off of all this money as of in the most recent years, is the money's going down in value. But I don't even want to go too much into that, but in essence is they'll have some money that's sitting around, maybe in a retirement account that's not earning anything, and now Juan is able to provide value, or you are able to provide value to them through getting them a good return on their deal. So that's one thing I want to touch on. But the first thing I want to allude to is having the right mindset when it comes to finding private money, is that knowing that it's going to take time. It's not one of those things that's overnight. And I see this especially with the social media age, which I've been completely off of. I've been off social media. It's going on. It's 20 days at the time of me shooting this, of not been on, not been checking messages, not been checking notifications. I actually have an app on my laptop that I'm not able to see the news feed or anything, but I don't even log into it. But is that with the social media age, we see everything that's the highlights. So many people don't see that, oh, well, Sterling was able to raise $11.5 million of equity to buy deals, but they don't see everything that led up into that point, the years, the sacrifice of the work that was put into it, all of the rejection as well, all of the uncertainty that came along with that. So that's one thing, is just having the right mindset that it takes time. And also within under the right mindset is that not looking at it from the angle that you are taking money from someone, you are providing value. Is many of the times is they've got their money that's just sitting there not earning anything, and you come in and you're able to offer value by having their money make money and have that money go out and get more money for them and bring more money back to them. So have their money work for them through the vehicle that you offer through the deals. So just starting out, having the right mindset. The second is knowing your numbers. I had a call with someone recently, a fellow mentee, and they're getting started they've got some smaller multifamily deals, some single families that are looking to transition to the mid-size apartments, and they're working on restructuring one of their deals. And they just simply asked, how do I structure this deal? I want to give my relative this, I want to give this person this of the equity. And I asked them what return are you looking to provide to them? And they didn't have an answer to that, because I simply mentioned you've got to know your numbers, because if you decide to do that moving forward on deals, that you're just going to give this person this equity, you're going to give this person this, is that as you get to more sophisticated deals, it's good to have the end in mind of, okay, I want to offer you 10% cash on cash, and then 3-4 years, you're gonna is when we go and exit the property, you're gonna double your money, and based upon that, you get 20% equity based upon those estimated results. So that's what I mean by knowing your numbers and having the end in mind, because if you don't, and you're looking to raise money from some individuals, they're a little bit more, they could be a little bit more or even more knowledgeable and sophisticated, and you try and pitch your deal to them, and then they're not interested because they can tell that you don't know what you're doing. With some friends and family, they may not be as sophisticated, and when you're starting out, you don't have to be that sophisticated when you're dealing with friends and family, but it's good to be even more sophisticated and know your numbers. That way they can have more confidence in your ability to actually execute. And it's okay for starting out that you may not know all these, because when I first started out on my first couple deals, I did not have all those things in mind. I was still using rules of thumb. Prime example is the 1% rule, was using that. And what the 1% rule is, that if you buy a house and you're all into it $100,000, 1% of that is $1,000. That's the rent. So it was using that. And in Indianapolis, you could actually get it in very good, decent neighborhoods, not war zones or very high crime neighborhoods. You could actually get the 2% rule. So it was just using rules of thumb at that time, but then later ended up understanding, okay, what is my cash on cash? What does it look like on an annualized return? So there's that. Third is to buy in good to great locations, because in these cases is the deal will be able to sell itself, and you won't need to actually sell the deal to your investors when you're actually raising the money. And from personal experiences, to avoid, or I won't tell you I won't personally tell you avoid. My just personal experience here is the neighborhoods that are considered the D neighborhoods in terms of the rating of, there's high crime, there's quite a bit of boarded houses, there's a lot of turnover, the schools are not very good, is those look really good on paper. However, translating that to actual execution can be very difficult, and a lot of times not worth the headache. And what I like to say is the juice is not worth the squeeze in those scenarios, and have shifted from buying those types of properties, have bought maybe only a handful of those out of the total 150 single families, but they were just a nightmare to manage. And I remember keeping tenants in those was difficult. The quality wasn't that good. And then when they would move out, that's when there would be an increase in potential vandalism. And some of these properties actually did get vandalized because they were not in good neighborhoods. I remember walking into a property before, and we went because we were going to do a line by line budget, and we heard someone in the basement. We were thinking, well, there shouldn't be anyone in the basement. We just bought this property. We don't have anyone that we had sent out. And as soon as we start walking more, we hear someone run and then go out the back door. And then we go downstairs and there's actually one of those saws, and they were looking to strip all the copper that was in the basement. So that just goes to show that, yes, those D properties look good on paper, but the actual execution and the risk is where you can get into trouble. The next is create a deal package. A deal package just goes into, okay, this is the business plan that we have. This is more details about the actual property, such as the bedrooms, the unit mix, the location of the property, the age, and then also you're going in with your business plan, and once you put in, let's say, $8,000 worth of rehab to the interior units, as well as fixing some deferred maintenance, then you'll be able to increase the rent up to $100. So going into the nitty gritty and details on that, and then being able to provide it to your prospective investor. That way they're able to educate themselves on the information you provide to them. And then in addition to that, always encourage for them to do their own due diligence and their own homework outside of what is provided to you. And then the last but not least is have a exit strategy. Have this in mind, because investors want to know, okay, if I invest X with you, when should I expect to get my money back? That's what they want to understand. Is I invest $10,000 in you, with you, and I know I'm going to be earning from the cash flow, but what is the exit plan? Is it holding on to it for forever, and you plan on refinancing within, let's say, 5 years, and I get my money back then? Or in 6 years, you plan to sell the property? What does that look like? Because the investor wants to see what an exit would look like, and then also when they would be able to get their money back. So many of the time. So that's to share, you guys, is first, having the right mindset and just knowing that it takes time to be able to nurture these relationships. And the best time to start nurturing these relationships as soon as yesterday. And then the next is to start those now. The second is know thy numbers. Very crucial, and there's tons of calculators that are out there that can be used. The third is choose a solid property in a good to great location, because the deal will sell itself. And just personal experience share, those properties that offer on paper a higher return, that are in D neighborhoods, high crime, school's not that good, very volatile setting, is that it's difficult to translate that to actual real life. Next is create a deal package that really goes into the details of the property, the investment. And then fifth is just have an exit strategy in mind. So out of those, you guys, what do you use more so, or which one actually were you not familiar with? Did you not know the time it takes to get these deals going? Or one of the things that you didn't know was, hey, I've got to now know more of my numbers. So go ahead and comment below on that. And then after that, of course, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. That way you can be informed moving forward. And those of you who are on other platforms, leave that rating. It would really mean the world. And just below as well, as there will be a link to my book, From 0 to 400 Units, which, you guys, if you haven't already read that book, it's a very quick read. And I really go into my background and what I was able to overcome to get to where I am now, which was to 400 units. Now just, to 400 units. Okay, I'm saying, I don't want people to think I'm saying to 400 units, which is 800. I'm saying 0 to 400 units. Okay, I digress. But yeah, go ahead. There's going to be a link below to that. And last I want to touch on is that you all are the creator of your destinies. I know I've said this time and time again, but is in the event you've been fed or you've been given lemons, decide to make lemonade out of that. Of course, sugar-free though. Have a great one, y'all. Keep being awesome. Thank you.